Can we talk about the strategy for a second that is apparently blowing people's minds? And this is something that has come to such a shock for me. And in fact, when I have actually reflected on the recent success of my and the fact that from year 2 to year 3, we had a 100% renewal for a high ticket offer. And I think about, why is that? Why do I get these kinds of results in my containers? And then I reflected on comments that people had shared with me recently, which I'm going to share with you today. And it's really come down to the strategy of being human. Like, when did we forget that people buy from people? Because lately I have had clients, really smart, conscious, successful women, be absolutely shocked that I actually replied to their emails myself, or that I remembered something that they said on a group call and then sent them a hypnosis that matched it. But I'm sitting here like, is this not normal? Is this really not normal? So in this episode, we are going to strip business strategy back to something that honestly should never have really needed to be rebranded, and that is connection. Okay, if you are someone who wants to build long-term relationships, long-term retention, high-level clients, and a business that actually feels good, this episode is a conversation that you are going to want to have, because by the end, you are going to understand why being human, and again, so funny we have to have this conversation, but why being human is the most magnetic strategy that you will ever use, how to create loyalty and overflow by leading with connection and authenticity, and why scaling doesn't mean losing intimacy. Now, I had a belief that scaling did mean losing intimacy. So we're going to shatter that one today. I am proof of that belief. So let's dive in. Now, if you are new here, welcome. My name is Jessica Reed. I am a business mentor. I am a frequency strategist. I help the women, the entrepreneurs who are activating their frequency that initiates their strategy. My name is Jessica Reed. I am a business mentor and a frequency strategist, and I help entrepreneurs to activate their frequency so that they can then build an aligned strategy. Okay, in my world, we do both. So, welcome. Now, again, I just feel like I can't believe I'm even having this conversation today, but we're going to have it. And the reason that we are going to have it is because I had a client recently. She's just come into my world. She's moving into a high ticket offer. And she told me something that literally just stopped me, like in my tracks. I was like, what? Are you serious? So she said that she had done a lot of like webinars and things like that recently. And anything that she'd ever been in, she felt like just a number. Now, when she got the email that registered her to mine, it said at the bottom, reply. I read every response and I will reply back. And she actually genuinely thought, I'm going to write back to this person and I'm never going to hear from her. And then I emailed her back. And not only did I email her, but I popped over to Instagram and I DM'd her a voice message and we chatted. And to me, that's just normal. To me, those kinds of conversations are just normal. And to her, she was blown away. And so then there was another example. And so she was telling me about this. And then there was another example where then after this event that I ran the other week, I then went in and I dropped into people's DMs and I said to them, I've just emailed you guys a hypnosis, but based on what you told me on the call, this is what I want you to focus on. Okay? Personalized support. Now, a lot of those women didn't move through to buy. That doesn't matter. To me, it's like, again, it's the strategy of being human. And how many conversations I have with people where they're like, do you know what? I never actually really considered that sending messages, and I don't mean cold, hey babe, hey girl, hey girl, like, and I don't mean those cold messages, but I mean just having conversation, remembering details about people. Like, I just don't know when that became something that people got really scared to do. And yeah, again, it blows my mind that we are reflecting on the fact that this is a strategy that a lot of people have actually not considered in their business. Apparently, care has become rare. And honestly, that's a fucking problem. It really is. We wonder why industries like mine have such a bad rapport. So I want to talk about the human first strategy. Okay, I didn't realize until recently that my biggest business strategy, the biggest driver in my strategy, is literally just being human first. Yes, I've got some fantastic funnels. Okay, I've got amazing strategies, amazing plans. I've got the frequency to match it. But I go in service-led first. I remember that every single person behind that transaction is a person. And so for me, that looks like things like in programs, because again, I was reflecting on my mastermind that we have just entered into our 3rd year for. And when it came time for renewal, I remember thinking a couple of months ago, I was like, oh, 3rd year renewal. I wonder what that's going to be like. So when I launched the program, we had 7 women come in our first intake. Then we had 6 of those women renew through to 2nd year. And then 100% of those 6 renewed through for a 3rd year. And again, in a high ticket offer and in my industry, that is a really, really good statistic. And so I've really reviewed their feedback and I've really reflected on what is it? Like, what is it that is about the strategy or what I'm doing that is different? And it really is that it is a human first strategy. It's a people first strategy. And so that looks like checking in if someone goes quiet, celebrating their wins with them, celebrating them publicly, holding space for the big things and the little things, sending them a thoughtful gift if I see something, not shaming them if they're in a cash flow ebb and we need to pause a payment for a month. Like, just communicating, being approachable, communicating like a real person, letting my clients know when things are shifting, when I pivot, when I'm human too. Okay, I really deeply did believe that because of my channel of intimacy and because it is in my incarnation cross, that I could not scale with intimacy. But when I look at the level of service that I provide, the level of connection, the level of touch points, the level of detail, and the fact that I still have a very spacious, high income business, I think I'm proving that wrong. So I actually don't believe that you can build sustainable success on disconnection if you are in a service-based, relationship-based business. That 100% renewal rate, that was not a retention tactic. That was relationship. That was me serving. So it's just something to really sit with and really consider. I'm going to say this on the precursor, that I automate so many things, okay? Ask my team, ask my friends, my peers. I'm always like, why don't you just click this and send it over here and then you don't have to worry about it. But what if a part of the industry has become too automated? Like, I love the freedom that automations and leveraged systems, we have leverage in the energetics of success, leveraged systems give you. But somewhere along the way, I think a lot of businesses, and I'm very proud to say not mine, for a lot of businesses, automation has become code for emotionally unavailable. I think we've become so obsessed with trying to create passive income, evergreen funnels, that we've forgotten about what active connection actually does. I now believe that you can have freedom and intimacy. And that's what I mean when I say that I am building a spacious business. That is what I mean when I say that I help women to reach that higher income, to build that deeper impact, anchored in to spaciousness and building from overflow in the frequency of their fuck yes. So automation doesn't have to mean that you are out of touch, but it does mean that you can use it really intentionally to mean then that the human parts get to be more intentional. I honestly believe that when you genuinely care, people feel it. And if you don't, they also feel that. I've been in programs too where I felt like just a number. I've also been in programs that are highly intimate where my mentors send flowers when my dog dies. And, like they're checking in, they're caring about you. Like that honestly made my days. Last year I was working with Jervis and my little dog, after 15 years, she passed. And then the next day I had this beautiful bunch of flowers. I open the mail and find these thoughtful cards and things from people. Like, it's just so beautiful. It really is. And you feel so special. The birthday gift that I got from my mastermind mentors this year was something that I had in Bali. I was like, oh wow, I love that, and never thought about it again. People who get to know you, people who genuinely care about you, the experiences that I have had. And I've also had the contrast. And it blows my mind still, and I've said that probably 15 times now. It blows my mind that human first is not a common strategy anymore. In fact, it actually makes me really sad that human first is not a common strategy anymore. It makes me sad that someone would be genuinely surprised that I would respond back to an email or send them a voice message in a DM. Not an automated one. I do have automated ones. Again, I love automation. I really do. But I'm just talking about the fact that there are these elements of humanness that we can add in, and our brain tells us, oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I don't want to bother them. Oh, I don't want to interrupt their day. What if they ghost me? All of the stories that we have, like, no, just say hi and be human. People can feel and see right through you if all you are looking for is a sale. Honestly, I feel like the biggest flex in a business like mine right now is not scaling faster. I feel like it's actually going to be scaling deeper. It's being known as the mentor who actually gives a flying fuck about her people, who loves them fiercely, and does that whilst building a spacious business. So there's my rant for today. I really would love to hear your experience with this. Have you had the contrast? Have you experienced the container that loves you fiercely? And have you experienced the I'm just a number? Because I have had both, and I want to hear your experiences. Is human first and connection first a priority for you in your business? Are you talking to people? Are you having conversations? Because that human connection, that is not a luxury. It is in the foundation of a sustainable business. Intimacy creates retention. So coming into our frequency first process, okay? If you have been down the bottom of my diagnostic, where you're in the strategy and you're in the messaging and you're in all the funnels and you're trying to figure out what's missing, come back up to the frequency. Come back up to the mind, body, energy, and emotional state that you are putting out. Are you leading people first? Human first? Maybe this is the piece that you are missing. Is your frequency shouting service-led, or is it shouting desperation for the money that this person is going to bring into my business? So be human. Respond, care, follow up, speak like a person. The strategy that will keep people coming back is not just in your launch plan, it is in your frequency. And when that frequency says to your people, I see you, your clients feel that every single time. Oh, okay. Let me know your takeaways from this. I want to hear from you over on Instagram. Thank you so much for being with me today in Resourced. We have some fabulous episodes coming up, including a panel of 2026 predictions with marketing and launch and leadership experts. And we have a human design conversation coming. And our very special 200th episode is coming up as well. Thanks for having me in your ears. I will see you next week. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to Resource with Jessica Reed. If today's episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with another soul-led entrepreneur who is also ready to rise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected, because when you are deeply resourced, you become unstoppable. Until next time, my friend, stay resourced, stay radiant, and trust in the magic that is you.